Two persons. One was in a ship and it was sinking because of him. The other was in a ship and the ship could not sink because of him. I want to ask you, who are you carrying? Jonah or Jesus? You will know who you carry by the events of things that happen around you. Relationships are not the same. So you must not relate with men in the same way. For instance, when God begins to bless you financially, there are people, you will have many more friends. The Bible said that wealth has a lot of friends. But you must be able to know people who come to you, not because of what you have. There are people who are willing to stake their lives for you. There are people who are willing to lay down whatever they have. And you know what? A couple of people end up losing such people over plastic relationships. Yes. Because people don't know how to define relationships. They don't know how to define association. So they go on prioritizing the things that should not be their priorities. Prioritizing relationships that they should not prioritize, as against the ones that should be prioritized. Let me say that the company you keep determines your belief and your mindset. Your belief and your mindset. When we read in 13:20 of the book of Proverbs, the Bible said that he that walks with the wise will be wise. That he can be a fool. But once he begins to company with the wise, he certainly will be wise. Walk with people who endear you towards your goal. People who encourage you and spur you into mighty things. Your belief is always in line with that of anyone you work with. You begin to think like your friends. That's why you must love everyone, but never manage any relationship in terms of friendship. Don't manage the relationship. Am I being helped by this, or am I going down by this? There are acid tests of healthy relationships. Acid test of healthy relationship. One of these strong acid tests is what happens. What happens when you are in the dark? Who sticks out his or her neck for you when you've gone through the storm? If someone around you has not been with you, stood by you in the storm, you may as well keep the person at the peripheral. Who is that one person you know that if anything happens, that even without a call, that person responds? This is a relationship not to joke with. I discovered that Jesus had many stratas of relationship. He had 120, he had 70, 120 acquaintances, 70 comrades. Then he had 12. These are close friends. He had 3 bosom friends. And then he had 1 covenant relationship. And if you watch the writing of John, you would see that Jesus could only trust John to chronicle the book of Revelation. If you watch what John wrote, his gospel was quite different from every other gospel written. He was the one that wrote more of intimacy because he was the closest to Jesus. When Jesus was en route to fulfilling his destiny, when he was en route to fulfilling his destiny, the last moment of his life, he was praying an agonizing prayer at Gethsemane. There were only 3 persons he took. Out of the 12, he took only 3. John, one of them, Peter, one of them. He took only 3 out of 12. Only 3 out of 12. When the jungle matured, he took 3. He took 3 out of 12. Only 3 out of 12. Now the question would be, why could he not take the rest? Why not Andrew? Why not the rest? Why not some of these guys? He only laid his hand on 3. And that 3, he wanted to show them a revelation that would form them. Because At that Gethsemane, there would be two visitations. There would be a visitation of two personalities. That is, Elijah and Moses would visit. So he told them, do not sleep. There is something integral that the earth has not seen, you need to see. And then, of course, they were asleep. But the lesson to be learned is that the master took only 3 persons to that mountain in Gethsemane. And there he cried. And then the fashion of his countenance was changed. I saw a story that was so great in the scriptures in the book of Genesis chapter number 22. The Bible talks about Abraham, who was sojourning to one of the altars in the land of Moriah to sacrifice his son. The Bible said that when he saw the place, he told his servant, 2 servants he was traveling with, he said, wait here while I go yonder to worship. Wait here while I go yonder to worship. He took them from that journey from his home, but could not trust them to go with him to that mountain of significance. Sir, it is not every journey that everyone can follow you to. There are people that should not know how much you are worth. No matter how careless you are with your words, you should not tell them. There are people that should not be let into vital issues of your life. A lot of people are going through things because of those they spoke to, and they don't even know. And the worst part of it is that the people that kill you are more real than your real friends. Yes, because they walk in pretense. These ones can tell you, the real ones can tell you the hard truth. They can tell you who you are. They can fight you when you are getting it wrong. They can quarrel you. The other ones will only praise you and look good in your eyes. But these are ones that will bring devastating consequences to your life. Everybody should not be let into your life. There are people you shouldn't tell about that relationship. There are people you should not tell about your wedding until it happens. There are people that are not permitted to know you are going for a visa interview. There are people you should not tell you are traveling until you have traveled. Am I talking to somebody here? One of these days I was preaching on PMD. I was praying on PMD, and the Lord showed me a young man that got a contract for a trial abroad in Europe. And the mother came to the shop and began to scream and say, my son is traveling. My son is traveling. Foreign country has invited him to come for trials, and they are the ones begging. The young man wasn't training, sir. The following morning he was walking, and then he had a sprain in his ankle. He thought it was a joke. They sprained the legs, swell up. And then that's how the young man could not travel. He couldn't use the invitation until it had passed. Immediately he passed, that leg became all right. And then the Lord told me that that woman made an announcement in the wrong place. And someone went to a native doctor and took a lizard and used a pin and pierced into the right leg, and the injury came. Everybody must not be let into your life. A lot of you are suffering devastating consequences of wrong people you let into your lives. No normal human being should have up to 5 covenant relationships. You are not normal if they are 10. 5 is, let it not be that pastor is not conservative. It's not everybody that should know your whereabouts. No, not everybody. Some of you have ended up killing themselves. Those secrets you are letting out, that person you took to go and do abortion, if 2 of you quarrel, can that person keep the secret? You are my friend that even if we are at war today, sir, even if we fight and you speak everything I have done, you see what I know about you, it is unto death. It is unto death. It is unto death. Nobody. Because in friendship there is something that is called the vow of confidentiality. Unto death. Unto death. You have been dashing people the CV of your failures. You see them, you tell them, you know, I'm somebody that is too open. Who do you resemble, sir? If you are too open, who do you resemble? Even God is not too open. The Bible says it is the wisdom of God to hide himself and the duty of kings to search him out. How can you be open when your father dwells in mysteries? I am too straight. Listen to me, sir. No road that leads to important places is straight. From here to Port Harcourt, it can't be straight. You must employ diplomacy to stay afloat in greatness. Yes. You must somehow have the subtlety of the serpent to navigate through the corridors of power. If you doubt me, ask John the Baptist. It was his straightforwardness that killed him. God gave a message. You could not employ wisdom. You ran to the house of Herod and you say, listen to me, thus saith the Lord. By the time they took out the knife to cut his head, he was talking in the Holy Ghost and God could not respond. Do you know why? What you lost by wisdom cannot be gained by prayer. But God gave another man a more terrible prophecy by name Nathan. And Nathan showed up and told King David, everybody's talking about you in this land. You are the greatest of the king. No king has come close to you. In fact, as I was coming, people were eulogizing you. O king, live forever. But O king, there is something. A man in this land has 100 sheep, and then he went and took one belonging to another and then killed it. He was not done speaking. David said, let me know who the person is. His head should be on the gallows. David was still angry. He said, oh king, it is you, sir. And what did the message do? He was broken down and they cried. What if Nathan entered and said, where is the king? And the cabinet are there. Let him come. Thus saith the Lord. He would have lost his head like John the Baptist did. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Wisdom is profitable to direct.